all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
There's a little bit of magic in photographs. With a click of a button, we can capture a moment in time and keep it forever. At Rockbrook Camera, let their creative team help you transform these precious memories into unique holiday gifts to last a lifetime. Most people know Rockbrook Camera for their large selection of camera gear and expert photo advice, but they're also the area's best high-quality photo lab. Choose from a variety of gifts to personalize, such as their popular photo ornaments, high-quality canvas wraps, and photo mugs. With so many gift options ready to be personalized, it's easy to share a story, a moment, or a memory that's made to delight friends, family, or even yourself. Send joy through the mailbox with Rockbrook Camera's thoughtfully designed photo greeting cards, ready to pick up in 48 hours or less. Start creating today with help from Rockbrook Camera's friendly staff in-store or online in the convenience of your home. Visit Rockbrook Camera today, 1 block south of 168th and West Center in Omaha, 70th and Pioneers in Lincoln, or online at rockbrookcamera.com.
Welcome to the No Fruit Podcast,
where we talk about our life experiences with a spiritual twist. Hosted by Maurice
and Kafa. We hope you enjoy today's episode.
Hey everyone, this is Maurice, and that is Kafa, and she is quiet. Kafa?
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
Splendid.
That's good, that's good. So, today I would like to speak to y'all on what I would call an action word. And part of this today is influenced by having conversations with family members and close friends over the last couple of weeks. I think a lot of us are questioning who we are, whose we are, what we are, the place that we have in this world. Some of us are really struggling in what people may call this global issue, if you will. And I think that some of our upbringing and things like that, because we did not have what would be the Cleaver family mentality or Brady Bunch mentality, where it felt like our parents show some type of care and understanding or whatever else. So it makes us question, some of us question where we are and what's going on. And I know I'm going a roundabout way, but there's this word, this action word that sometimes we get caught up on, and we're looking for it from an external place, but at times we have to understand that we need to place it on ourselves. And so I'm gonna read this little ditty, if you will. It says, "Love, a word that comes and goes, but few people really know what it really means to love somebody. Love, though the tears may fade away, I'm so glad your love will stay, 'cause I love you and you show me, Jesus, what it really means to love." And I think that a lot of us are dealing with situations where we don't feel loved. We don't understand what love really is. And our situations, we get kind of confused, and we're not sure what to do, to be honest. And ultimately, we did have a family member who talked about, because they're not sure of them being loved or feeling loved, they had talked about, taking themselves out. And that's really concerning because I feel like we don't, as a culture, we don't embrace that word from an action standpoint. Sometimes we need people to say that, but then there's some actions that take place to show we've been loved or whatever else. Kavi, any thoughts? You want to jump in real quick?
I mean, it's just a lot. It's heavy, but love, I guess, again, is you're stating, is an action word. The TV shows that you pointed out earlier, I don't even recall any character really saying "I love you."
No, but
when you said when it comes to a parent, do I recall anyone saying, "Hey, daughter, son, I love you"?
right,
No, I don't recall that. I think the action was there.
right,
I think we perceived that,
right.
and it looked like it was a loving household and those things. But I can't recall at any one particular time that someone said, hey, this person, that person, I love you. There are other shows that it may have happened, but it wasn't, again, in that parent-child role. It may have been among spouse or people dating or boo loving or whatever it is. So that's a little bit different.
Right.
But as you're stating, what is it? What is love? What does it mean? And I think it differs from person to person.
Right.
I think the way that we show love differs. And I think one of the things that we need to think about, because, one of the Bible verses, I guess, that comes to my mind when you say love is, one of those that we all learn very young is, for God so loved the world.
Right.
That he gave his only begotten son. So that's an action.
Yes.
Did God and does God really say, hey, child, I love you? Did Jesus tell the disciples, his road dogs, like, yo, bro, I love you? Did he tell the ladies, hey, sis, I love you. I appreciate you. I think we understand it to be so. But I don't recall in any scripture where it was like, and Jesus said, I love you.
So, and I agree, but, and I had to research, I had to go deep, right?
Right.
And so, there was one that was pointed out, which is, yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness, I have drawn thee. And that's in Jeremiah, the 31st chapter, the 3rd verse.
Right. But baby, if I would have came to you, if I come to you and say, yeah, I have loved thee, is that the same as me saying, I love you? I have loved thee.
Okay, so let's get out of the
I have loved
the
these and the thous and the those.
We have to understand that this is from a New King James version or something along those lines versus a New International, English abridged version, if you will. But I think that because in a situation where we're talking about God, right? Because we want to hear for ourselves to our ears, hey, Maurice, I love you, like straight from God's mouth. Sometimes it's hard because of the presence of him, right? And he's not in a physical form that you normally would expect, if you will, right? So when we have because, for both of us, we're in a situation where our grandparents may not have mentioned that they love us directly, say, hey, I love you directly. Does that diminish their love for us?
And I think that's what I'm saying. Like, so the Bible may not come out and say it every other page, but it does in other ways. So not quote unquote. I found something in Proverbs. I love them that love me. So, you can be proud and say, oh yeah, he loves me. But he's like, he's conditional. Like, I only love you.
Well, so let me ask you this. I mean, because I was going to say, so in that situation, is, should I only love my kids if they love me back? Or they have to love me first and then I love them? You get what I mean? That's kind of a, it depends on how you read it.
Right.
How you read into it and where you really are in your faith, your walk. That's the way I take that.
Exactly. And then, like you said, what you're looking for.
Right.
Since you wanted to quote one of these songs
right.
About love, I guess it's also what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, what are you looking for? How do you define love? And when you're looking for it, what and where are you looking for that love at? As I spoke to that family member today, I was saying that you have to kind of look within to find that love, not expecting it from somewhere else.
And see, I think that's hard, especially if you have not been shown love, if you will. It depends on your definition.
Right. But, somebody could tell you they love you all the time and you still can come out jacked up.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? Whether because you're superficial and you think you're bigger and better,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or, you just don't truly understand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a catch-22 on, hey, how often do you say, I love you? I remember when we were first dating and I had shared the L word with you, you kind of questioned on, well, hey, why do you say that? Why do you say it so much? Are you trying to convince yourself that you love me?
So let's even use that, right? So, excuse me. So in that situation, again, coming from a family that did not talk about it or say it a lot, that, yes, that could scare somebody off.
But, later on you said, hey, you're not saying it enough and that's something that you needed.
And I didn't realize that until later on,
mm-hmm.
right? That's in order for me to feel engaged or whatever it might have been, I needed that. I didn't realize how important those words were,
mm-hmm.
And I think all of us need it at some point in time, and not hearing that straight from Christ's lips or God's lips, if you will. Sometimes we forget that he does love us. Like you said, from John 3:16, like you said, we learn from a very young age, for God so loved the world that he gave really the ultimate sacrifice. And us as parents, what are we sacrificing to our kids? Is that the ultimate love? Are we showing that? Are we expressing that? Do they even see that? Or are they looking for us to say, hey, little one, I love you? And I think that's, we have our own ideas, we have our own ways of going about it, our situations, things like that, that we're influenced by. So I think it's hard. I really do think it's hard.
I think you have to have a combination of both. I think you can't just be all about the action and never say it.
Mm-hmm.
And then likewise, I think you can't always say I love you and then never have an action behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to continue to do nice things for you, but talk to you nasty and mean and disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, show you all these ways of an affection, if you will. And nor do I think it should be the other way, that I'm saying, hey, I love you and I care for you and, those things, but then
right.
Be physically abusive or, not showing love genuinely. So,
well, even in a situation like that, if you look at it from, is that the, unfortunately, she said abuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that an action? Is that the way that they show that they've been loved? Sometimes it's hard to say.
Well, that's why I said it's different for
Yeah.
each person. I think,
Yeah, it's hard.
What one may perceive as a love loving relationship and
Right.
a term of endearment.
And I mean, I think, and so let's be 100% clear. When I'm talking about abuse or whatever else, which is what, and I'm going to use it in its simplest form. And what I mean by that is chastising, quote unquote, our children in child rearing, right? And, you yell at the kid now, it's considered abuse. Just correcting them is considered abuse. Like, you can't, how do you expect for them to be great citizens if you don't express to them the difference between right and wrong? And so in that, should we chastise God, for, telling people that, you turn around and look backwards, I'm going to tell you the dust, well, salt. And guess what happened? He said, don't turn around. Somebody turned around. They ain't listen. They got chastised, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you determine what's abuse? Because if we look in the Bible, we have a whole lot of situations that people can look at it, look at it negatively. So, so again, as we're saying, I think it comes down to your experiences, and what you've been exposed to, because each one of us have, coming from a broken home, not from a broken home, to, our parents loved us and hugged us all the time. And there's some that wasn't even there, so what is it? What's your definition? What's your definition of this verb, if you will, this action word, if you will, of love? And in the song that I had coined earlier, which is Kurt Franklin's Love, for those of you who know it, he repeats patient love, kind love, sweet love, kind, so when you start hearing that and, hearing that repetition and things like that, what comes to you? How are you feeling? What does it remind you of? And some of those words, within the song, it says, the nights that I cried, you loved me. When I should have died, you loved me. I never know why you love me. When all hope was gone, you loved me. You gave me a song that you love me. What, how are we supposed to respond, to not just to him, but even to ourselves and those that are around us? So just some thoughts, on love, Kaf.
I love you.
I know.
And how do you know?
How do I know? Mm-hmm. And I know because even though we say it through text messages every now and then, but sometimes it's the action, right? So it may be a look, however, a wife looks at her husband, if you will, and even just the kindness or the softness of your voice, or the fact that you come home and cook dinner. And those are things that I know I personally had to understand, because at one time when you were not saying I love you, and we had those conversations like, hey, why don't you da 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 da? And you said, well, I come home and cook, don't I? Well, you didn't say it like that, but I got the gist. You get what I mean? So so when you start looking at the actions of the individual, would you, could someone say, hey, that's just, routine that you come home and cook dinner? I mean, it could be, but how many times were you tired and didn't feel like it or whatever else? That's love.
And that's sacrifice.
Right.
So, yeah.
So no, and Kaf, I love you too.
Thank you, baby.
But how do you know?
How do I know that you love me? It's
Yes.
Likewise, like you said, it's a look. It's the action, that you lay down yourself at times. For me, looking at what my needs are, before your own.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows me that you love me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you tell me about myself. You know, so that chastisement, that correction is
It
there.
sounds so bad coming out your mouth like that.
It's love.
But you said chastisement.
Chastisement.
You know, the
that-
correction, like it just sounds like you on punishment. Like I don't know, it's just crazy.
I'm not on punishment. I haven't been on punishment since I was maybe in the 4th grade,
Yeah,
something like that. So
yeah.
got off punishment. So
Got you.
And no punishment from you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So those are some things that let me know that you love me. Some of the actions, if you will. Yeah.
I mean, and so those type of things is what God shows us constantly, and talks to us constantly throughout the Bible. And so, you know, for anyone that's out there, I just want to encourage you to read the Word.
Read the Word.
Read the Word, and see what that says about love. You know, yes, you could listen to Stevie. Is it Stevie? I just called to say, right. You know, so, you know, so we can listen to those songs, but when you read the Word and practice your faith and what you believe in, and understand where God is taking you, from and through, and see how you might have progressed. And, you know, and when you've fallen short, how his love has brought you through the situation, you know. So I just want y'all to be encouraged out there today that his love is going to bring you through regardless.
Yes.
Just as long as you continue to be faithful, and try not to be so hard-headed sometimes, because all of us are. And then when he, as you said, chastise cough, let's understand that's done out of love and not because we are bad or something like that. Sometimes you just gotta be awakened a little bit.
Yes.
You know, so let's understand that love is an action word, and ultimately, yes, we love God, but we have to love ourselves too. We have to love ourselves. So what does that mean? We have to take care of ourselves. If we have to look in the mirror and encourage ourselves, if that means that, you know, we have to find a way to move on, take the next step in life, put yourself in different groups, whatever it might, you know, depending on the situation is, you may have to find ways to love on yourself, which means changing the environment.
And loving the God that's inside of you, loving what God has created. That's something else I had to share with my family members today, that, you know, no, I'm not all that I want to be.
Right.
I'm not all that I used to be.
Right.
But I do have flaws, and I recognize those, but I don't hate on myself because of those flaws.
Right.
You know, I look at them and I embrace them. You know, I have a couple extra pounds. I embrace those extra pounds. Like, it's all right. But that's not, I don't focus on that. You know, I try to focus on what I think is positive. So, you know, if I think that, you know, I have a good hair day, then I focus on that.
Right.
You know, when I'm having a bad hair day, I don't focus on it. I focus on something else. I, you know, wear a bright outfit. So everybody's like, oh, wow, that's a nice bright outfit. Yeah, because now you're not focused on my bad hair day. You know, so you just have to kind of figure out what is going to work.
That's funny.
for you, you know.
Right.
So one of the things I want to share before we go is, so no matter what I say, this is from the Bible, this is 1 Corinthians 13. So no matter what I say, what I believe, and what I do, I am bankrupt without love. Love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others, isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep the score of sins of others, doesn't revel when others grovel, takes pleasure in flowering the truth. It puts up with anything. It trusts God always, always looks for the best, never looks back, but keeps going to the end. So again, that's 1 Corinthians 13 from the Message Bible about love. So just thinking about that and allowing that to soak in and thinking about, hey, are we truly displaying love? Are we falling short of what the Bible says love is and what we should do and how we should share love and act upon it? So just something to think about.
Yeah, I think that's a good food for thought. That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot.
And I know I've fallen short of some of these things. So, but, you know.
Yeah, that's as you would say, that's a good word there, Pastor. That's a good word.
It's a good word, Pastor.
I mean, you're the one that said it.
I'm just reading. You know, you preached. I'm just got to the point, that I summed it all up. And before the offering plate goes out.
Well,
before you call to worship. What's it called? Call to Christian discipleship.
Invitation to Christian discipleship.
Yes.
So. But
See, the pastor knew exactly what I was talking about. I was all mumbled and confused and twisting all different parts of the service together.
Altar call. It's different things to call it, if you will.
Exactly, and
But yeah, I do. I mean, I'm a church boy.
Church boy.
So, but you know what? We thank y'all very much for listening, and of course, be sure to, like, share, and subscribe.
And listen.
Hey, Kafa, what do we want them to do?
Maurice, we want everyone to stay fit with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow, share, comment, and subscribe to the No Fruit Podcast.
Continue to listen to us on your favorite podcast channels.
And look for new episodes every Thursday.
We thank y'all very much for listening to us.
May God bless you all.
Peace.
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.
And now, an Etsy holiday gifting mission. Today's episode, Operation Handcrafted and Affordable. Here's the situation. It's the holidays, which means you're on a mission to find handcrafted, affordable gifts. You want items that will brighten the spirits of everyone on your list, but won't blow your budget. Sure, it sounds impossible, but there's no need to make shopping for gifts feel like it has the suspense and high stakes of a heart-pumping action franchise. It's time to simplify your gifting experience with Etsy. Whether you're searching for handmade home pieces like serveware, cutting boards, and throw pillows for your favorite holiday hosts, or personalized items like necklaces, handbags, and seasonal jackets for your most stylish friends and family, Etsy has it. Get handmade items for all budgets and any gifting mission. New to Etsy? Use the code HOLIDAY10 for 10% off your first purchase. That's code HOLIDAY10. Maximum discount value of $50. Expires December 31st, 2023. See terms at etsy.com/terms. Shop Etsy.com. Etsy has it.